We're going to my island for a few days.
Do you guys want to come?
Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for the film Blink Twice from 2024. This is now available on video on demand, so I wanted to check it out. The film is rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 42 minutes, and it has a Rotten Tomato score of 74% from the critics, 69% from the audience, and a Letterboxd average rating of 3.4 stars as of the recording of this video. I will tell you this up front, and the film does that as well, at least in the version I saw on demand. There is a content warning at the beginning of the film, so make sure to check that out before you get into the film, because it does deal with a lot of really strong topics, and it definitely has something to say about those things. So make sure to check out that content warning. I'll try to put a picture maybe here in this part of the video so you can see what it says. But let's get into it. In this film, when tech billionaire Slater King meets cocktail waitress Frida at his fundraising gala, he invites her to join him and his friends on a dream vacation on a private island. But despite the epic setting, beautiful people, ever-flowing champagne, and late-night dance parties, Frida can sense that there's something sinister hiding beneath the island's lush facade. This is Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut. She also co-wrote the film. And it stars Naomi Ackie as Frida, who I don't think I'm very familiar with that performer. But we also have Channing Tatum as Slater, Aaliyah Shawkat as Jess, Christian Slater as Vic, Simon Rex as Cody, Adrian Arjona, who just, her performance in this movie. She plays Sarah, Haley Joel Osment as Tom, Liz Carabell as Camilla, Levon Hawke as Lucas, True Mullen as Heather, Gina Davis is Stacy, which I was very surprised when I saw Gina Davis, and also Kyle MacLachlan as Rich. So you won't go a scene in this movie without recognizing somebody new as all these characters come into the film. So that was very interesting. I think I hope that they all had a great experience working on this because although the subject matter itself is pretty harsh, the settings were beautiful and it looked like they were, like as a performer, this could have been where you have one very difficult shoot, but the rest of the time, it's very interesting to just kind of hang out, probably in some kind of paradise. All that being said, we're going to get into it. So this is the kind of debut film that announces that a director has a bright future, at least in my opinion, because although the film itself is not perfect, there's plenty of style. There's plenty of there's definitely a voice that I can see from Kravitz, just pulling the audience into every little thing. Yeah, you want to be engaged with this film, and although there were parts of it where I was not fully engaged, it did lose me in some points. For the most part, the first 30 minutes for sure, I was fully locked in, and then also definitely for the ending part. There's a part in the middle, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But it really feels like it's just a bold and ambitious step into moving into movie directing. And although it doesn't come without some of these maybe first time director errors or growing pains, I think it's very much well worth your time. From the opening scene, this film visually it looks great. I think there's especially everything that happens on the island is just such a beautiful location, which all that juxtaposed with the intense nature of the story, it makes for a very just a tense experience, because throughout the whole film I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop. So but everything that happens here, every sequence feels very meticulously planned out. All the looks of the characters, the settings, when they're having a party, the stuff that they're eating, everything, it feels like it's in place for a reason. And definitely a lot of those things do come back into play and fall into place as the movie goes on. I think we have some great performances, specifically Naomi Ackie and Adrian Arjona. Just great stuff from them. The cast can be funny at times, because overall this movie is about the contrast between the good times and the really bad, shitty times, right? So I would say that they really nail that aspect of bringing all these personalities. It really felt like those people were more than just like these little one-dimensional characters. They all had like a dark secret kind of hidden, and that's kind of what you're waiting to see throughout the whole film. So yeah, there's always a palpable sense of things about to unravel. And the tension kind of builds up, and you're just like waiting for an inevitable moment when things are going to fall apart. Specifically, there's a plot point where you know things are going to happen, and it's kind of like a little ticking time bomb. So that does come later in the film, which is probably my biggest gripe with this film. It just takes too long eventually to kind of get there. Like there's a part in the middle where I feel like they kind of redid a sequence to kind of like make sure to emphasize the point of like there's something amiss, there's something wrong here. But I feel like it maybe took a little bit too long. But once things click again, like there's definitely a lot of violence, and like I said, very very mature and strong themes. So, but yeah, overall very engaging. Um, I think the final act of the film will definitely just leave people saying, "What the actual f is happening?" It is just a mind bender of like, what the heck have I been watching for the past, hour and a half? So it is definitely worth your time. And like I said, it's not a perfect film. Matter of fact, far from perfect. But I think as a debut of this as a little short story, I'm surprised this was this. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that this came to VOD so quickly. I think this is gonna find an audience when it's actually streaming, just because if anything, for the cast, like there's gotta be Channing Tatum fans or Adrian Arjona's fans or Christian Slater fans that just want to see those performers and stuff. And maybe once this movie hits streaming, which I would bet this ends up like either I don't know the production, but if this ends up on Netflix at some point, I think it's gonna definitely garner an audience. I feel like Netflix is the place where people discover that there were movies that came out that they missed in theaters, that they feel really upset that they missed at the beginning. So highly encourage you to look for this film, whether it's now on demand, or maybe just once it comes on a streaming service of some sort. So if you have seen Blink Twice, first of all, let me know, am I in trouble? But yeah, make sure to share, like, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about the film down in the comments. And as always, stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, movie reviews, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.